Hey there, YouTube. We're just covering
Cool it with
Israel.
the anti-Semitic remarks.
We're just covering Israel. Sorry if that offends somebody out there who doesn't want to see the reality of what's going on. Of course, as predicted, literally, I mean, like, it's not, it doesn't take, I don't need a fucking degree to predict what Israel was up to with their provoking the Palestinians on their most holiest day in one of their most holiest spots. No, without much provocation, as they do every fucking time. They do this every fucking time. This is as predictable as it fucking gets. But here they are. For the second time in 24 hours, Israeli forces storm Masjid al-Aqsa, this very sacred mosque that there's a special agreement with the Israelis and the Arabs there about using it. It's basically the Jews can use it and the Arabs can use it, and there's a certain way that there's all an agreement on everything, and it's this power thing that they've been doing where the Jews are not allowed into the mosque, and they come in anyway, and then they start beating people up, and then now they're just sending in the IDF so that the rockets will start flying. And right on cue, Hamas does exactly what they're told, basically. I'm so sick of fucking Hamas and their terrible strategy. Quit sending the fucking rockets. It works. It works for propaganda against you and against all Palestinians. I'm not saying you have to take this shit, but I'm telling you the rockets don't fucking work. Free times, it sounds like you understand. There's an agreement. And really, Israel should be allowed to do this. This is just getting banned from a country club. Really? Equal access? I got you, Kim. Sorry. So here we have Israel intentionally provoking the Palestinians. And predictably, because what does Bibi need? He needs a war. I honestly don't know what the Israeli government's going to do once they've completed their little genocidal project with Palestine. When the settlements are complete, when they've finally pushed all Palestinians into some small little chunk of land, and there's no more land to take, who's going to be the boogeyman then? Are they just going to immediately shift to Iran? But here we go. And don't you love how they keep calling Israelis who steal Palestinian land settlers? Even Al Jazeera. I have an Al Jazeera. Look at this. Al Jazeera English. 2 Israeli settlers. Is that what we're calling colonizers now? Hey guys, America just settled. We just settled. We killed Native Americans, and then we just settled America. Is that Mr. Pepper? Which one? I don't see too much spam. I just see Free Times getting very butthurt. I always build settlers in Civ 5. Yeah, Free Time. None of that bullshit from a fucking goofy book gives Israel a right to implement a full-blown apartheid against the Palestinian people. None of that bullshit justifies what's happening. Take that shit to the motherfucking curb.
Israeli-Palestinian tensions reach boiling
thank you.
point, this time in Tel Aviv. Late Friday, a car plowed into a crowd of people on the esplanade, killing an Italian tourist and injuring several others. Israeli police shot dead the driver when he pulled a gun. It comes after an attack in the West Bank in which two Israeli sisters were shot dead in their car near the settlement.
Oh, this is super quiet now. Sorry. We'll start it over.
The latest deadly incident as Israeli-Palestinian tensions reach boiling point. This time.
Yeah, so I just said there's no excuse for Israel to implement an apartheid against Palestine. And you say, yeah, but? Yeah, but? Excuse me. If you were going, yeah, but, after someone says another nation is implementing a full-blown apartheid against it, you got some serious fucking problems morally. When you look at an apartheid and you go, yeah, but, because you know why? Because there's zero justification for enforcing an apartheid and colonizing another country like a slow creeping moss. There's no yeah, but. It's pathetic. Excuse me, free times, while I shit on your fucking face. Bye-bye. You're not welcome here. Free Palestine.
I'm in Tel Aviv. Late Friday, a car plowed into a crowd of people on the esplanade, killing an Italian tourist and injuring several others.
Yeah, evangelicals
Israeli
are
police
frightening.
shot dead the driver when he pulled a gun. It comes after an attack in the West Bank in which two Israeli sisters were shot dead in their car near the settlement of Hamra. Their mother was left seriously injured. A manhunt has been launched to find the perpetrators.
We will settle the account with whoever tries to hurt citizens of Israel, and will bring them to the cemetery
Just
or
what
to
Bibi
prison
needed.
after investigation.
Just
Anyone
what
who
Bibi
tries
needed.
to turn the days of Israel's holiday into days of mourning will regret this matter greatly.
On Friday morning, residents of Gaza and southern Lebanon awoke to airstrikes. Israel's retaliation to 34 rockets fired from Lebanon, 9 of which made it through the Iron Dome defense system, as well as several more from Gaza.
Stop.
Israeli officials
Stop
accused
with
Hamas,
this.
which runs the Gaza Strip, of orchestrating the attacks. The unrest peaked on Wednesday when Israeli police stormed Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque to remove worshippers who had barricaded themselves inside. It came during the holy month of Ramadan and on the eve of the Jewish Passover holiday. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called for calm at the mosque compound, which is also the holiest site in Judaism, known as Temple Mount. But Netanyahu also vowed he would
tolerate
hit back against
intolerance.
any act of aggression. Israeli police and army reserves have been mobilized after Friday's attacks.
Motherfuckers be weaponizing your tolerance. You know what I mean? They weaponize your tolerance. They weaponize free speech, and then they weaponize tolerance against you. Equal access. Like Israel doesn't have their own everything. Oh, we should be able to go into spaces that Palestine says that we're not allowed. Jews aren't allowed in here. We can walk in. I'm going to beat up anybody that says we can't. Fuck that. And of course, United States. What do we get from United States? Well, yeah, we support Israel for life, and we'll make sure Israel has all the weapons and logistics they need to implement an apartheid against the Palestinian people, because we don't really give a shit. It's nothing really valuable from Palestine that we need. It's more valuable for Israel to be a military satellite against Iran, so fuck the Palestinians. Usual bullshit.
The Biden administration has expressed both concern about the violence at the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, as well as condemnation of the rocket attacks on Israel. While the State Department spokesperson did not directly condemn the Israeli police raids on the Al-Aqsa Mosque, he did say that it was absolutely vital that the sanctity of holy sites be preserved, and he called for restraint, coordination, and calm during this holiday season.
BB's
a
listening.
Message of calm and peace that was echoed at the White House by John Kirby, who also dismissed the idea that by not openly condemning the Israeli police raids, the U.S. was de facto taking sides in this violence. He said that the only side that the U.S. Was taking in the situation was the side of security, the side of status quo, and the side of a peaceful worship.
Welcome back, Rob.
Now, the Biden administration was much more unequivocal when it came to condemning the rocket attacks on Israel coming from Lebanon and Gaza, with the State Department repeating once again that the U.S. recognized the legitimate right of Israel to defend itself from all forms of aggression.
I swear to God, Hamas works for the CIA in Israel at this point. I mean, the Israeli strategy depends on Hamas firing rockets, and they can depend on them. Israel has full control over Hamas, apparently. They don't fucking work. They're an extremely effective propaganda tool. I understand that Hamas and Palestine in general does not get a microphone on the international stage. But the rockets don't fucking work.
With administration officials repeating there again that the administration was urging all sides to avoid further escalation.
Because it's completely, as usual, as I've said a million times, it's totally proportionate. Rockets that are barely the equivalent of, large fireworks versus United States-made missiles and bombs and training and troops. It's not even close to proportionate. But the media, and we saw France 24, Western media, doesn't mention the disproportionate nature of it, doesn't even mention that it's an apartheid. And here we have Al Jazeera, the supposedly Arab news network, it is Arab, calling Israeli occupiers, invaders, colonizers, settlers. Yeah, Zio. And look, and they deserve it. They deserve to have Iron Dome. They deserve to defend themselves. The rockets don't work. It works perfectly. Yeah, funded by Qatar. It works perfectly. As propaganda, and Israel depends on it. What would Israel do? How would Israel justify what it's doing without those rockets? It's turkey bacon. It's not pork bacon. There's no phosphates. It's perfectly healthy turkey bacon. And this is Canadian dairy farms, no hormones, delicious chocolate milk. Hormone-free, baby. I'm also drinking iced coffee and ginger ale on top of water over here. I have lots of liquids.
Another escalation.
And the chocolate milk is a treat. Okay, I don't drink this every day. It's a treat for me. I treated myself. Are they use phosphates when curing? Yeah, I don't know. I do know that phosphates are delicious. I've been cutting out all the phosphates from my diet, right? Because they're really fucking bad for you. Poutine free zone. I know my gut is quite a concoction. Anyway, let's get to it.
to that breaking news and another
of course you
escalation
do.
in tension between Israelis and Palestinians. 2 Israeli settlers have been killed.
Woke Patriot
Another
does everything.
seriously
He's the
injured
coolest
in a
individual
shooting
ever.
in the northeast of the occupied
He
West
does
Bank.
everything.
This happened in Al-Hamra in the Jordan Valley region. Rasul Sardar is in occupied East Jerusalem.
Not even being
Rasul, what
sarcastic.
happened? What can you tell us at this stage?
Well, so far what
bet
we
it
know
is
is
tasty.
from the Israeli sources. According to the Israeli authorities, 3 Israeli women, the settlers, were shot in the
Phosphates are
Jordan
bad for you,
Valley
yeah.
area. And one of the driver, the lady that was attacked, she lost the control of the car and hit another man. So this is a shooting attack according to the Israeli authorities. So 2 women are dead and 1 is critically injured for now. So
True.
initially, the Israeli authorities were assessing this as a
This guy is big sus alert. No, where is it? This guy. Big sus.
traffic accident. However, later they said that this is an attack conducted by an attacker. The identity of the attacker is not clear yet, but we know that the Israeli security forces have blocked the area and now they started a manhunt. They're conducting a manhunt to find the attacker. And also there are the reports that after losing the control of the car, the driver has run over another man. So that's also injured. But as of now, we know that 2 women are dead and the attacker is being searched by the Israeli security forces. So it is becoming tense again. So the initial reports today or the statements from the Israeli
like how
side
you think,
were
Ken
showing
Goblin.
the sign of de-escalation. However, this attack and also right behind me, you can see that.
And yeah, Sabercat, it is pretty interesting how small Israel is. But I mean, as we've seen with the United Kingdom, small doesn't necessarily mean weak.
People are preparing for the Friday prayer. So thousands of people are already gathering here. The Al-Aqsa compound was the source of the tension that started on Wednesday. Now thousands of people are gathering there and getting ready to conduct the Friday prayer. And that also could escalate another tension here because the Palestinians here are saying that if the Israeli security forces decide to arrest people here or attack to the prayers again, then this could lead to a wider conflict again. So the situation is quite fragile, quite tense here. However, the general expectation in the morning was that the Israeli authorities...
No, and you know, I truly believe that is one of the United States' empire's biggest faults. What Zioduke is saying here, that if you're allied with the United States, they'll let you get away with literally murder. You know, the Saudi Arabia is a mess, okay, when it comes to human rights. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's a massive problem for the United States that we fund and support governments that don't give a shit about human rights, and then we defend them. We'll give them legitimacy where they don't deserve it because they're useful to us. And then the moment they're not useful to us, the government and the whole fucking country, right in the goddamn crapper. Abandon bad eating habits. What is wrong with turkey bacon? I need protein. What the fuck is wrong with turkey bacon and milk? Is bad for you now? I'm done with y'all. I just need unflavored tofu. I just need to just chomp into unflavored tofu for the rest of my life. That's it, huh? And bugs. If I was eating handfuls of cockroaches, yes, you did. Turkey bacon is healthy and lean and delicious. I just want that section. You want me to talk about food? My fat ass, you don't want me talking about food. Talk to my wife about food. She knows what she's talking about. Just eat protein paste. Just fucking toothpaste like goop into my mouth.
And the Palestinian fractions are going to de-escalate. But as I said, this recent attack and now the behavior or the approach of the Israeli security forces after the prayer are going to show us what today is going to look like.
All right, Rasul, you're going to keep us apprised of developments and what's going on exactly where you are. All of this coming after.
I like this. This is nice. Occupied East Jerusalem. That's something CNN and MSNBC doesn't say, right? They don't identify these areas as occupied. They agree with Trump that, oh, yep, Jerusalem is now all of Israel. That debate is over now.
This lethal violence coming after violence in the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, Islam's third holiest site.
She's too shy. She doesn't like the camera.
Israeli forces used batons on Palestinian worshippers arriving from morning prayers on Friday. And soon after, hundreds of people gathered in the compound to protest against Israel's actions. We are joined.
Fucking Danzig over here. I needed some hard rock. My garbage fuel theme is the only one I can think of. Thank you, Danzig.
By Mustafa Barghouti. You're the Secretary General of the Palestinian National Initiative. You join us from Ramallah. You heard what Rasul Sardar was reporting on, a lethal shooting attack near Al-Hamra. Your reaction to that, sir?
Exactly what
it's
Patriot.
One of the side effects or the results of what the Israeli army did in Al-Aqsa Mosque. They have provoked the feelings of all Palestinians and all Arabs and all Muslims. And today they are even making more restrictions, not only for Muslims, but also for Christians.
It's totally predictable.
Who are trying to celebrate
We just lost the audio there. We'll go back to Mr. Barghouti as soon as we can. I believe we are able to reconnect. Mr. Barghouti, can you hear me?
Hello? Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, we lost your audio there for a second. You were interrupted mid-answer. Carry on, please, sir.
Okay, what I was saying that is what we see today is the result of the Israeli army behavior inside the Aqsa Mosque. They brutally beat people. They arrested 400 people while they were worshipping. If this has happened inside a mosque, inside a synagogue, what would have been the world reaction? They have provoked the
equal access. Yeah, but I mean, can you believe that? There's people in the chat. Yeah, but I'm beating them with billy clubs. Yeah, but my book, some other bullshit. Some guy in a funny hat, literally in a ridiculous tiny hat, said some shit. Yeah, but
the feelings of all Palestinians, Muslims, and Arabs, but they also are provoking the feelings of Christians today.
And there it is, folks. And there it is. I'm supposed to take this shit seriously. Twitch is calling this person a suspicious user and a ban evader. Evade this ban, bitch. And there it is, folks. And there it is, folks. The people who weaponize the term anti-Semitism for their own political gain. These authoritarian psychopaths. Honestly, who will they be after the Palestinian project is complete? Who will these extremists be once they've completed their genocidal project against the Palestinians? Who will be the boogeyman? What will you do with your life after you've conquered these people? Right? Oh, because they're all like, it'll be heaven on earth once we destroy these people. So what'll happen when you do that and then shit doesn't change? Because the people running your lives cynically use this boogeyman of Arab people to install an authoritarian government. They'll just hop right over to Iran.
When they are trying to prevent them from celebrating Easter in Jerusalem, if they were Palestinians.
Yeah,
this is a situation that is a result of a long-term occupation, the longest in modern history, and a system of discriminatory apartheid and racism.
Sir, let me jump in for a second. Are you suggesting that killing settlers is an appropriate response?
No, I'm not saying, I am not an advocate of violence, you know me well. But I am saying that violence is a symptom of the disease. And the disease has been the long occupation of Palestinian land.
It's inevitable. What happens when you push people into a corner? Do they just like accept death and fall over?
Disease has been the system of apartheid and oppression. And the fact that the Israeli...
Hey, I was just thinking about you. OG motherfucking Lee in the house. Thank you, Lee, for coming back. It's good to see you, man. Glad to hear that you're doing... Hopefully you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. But I'm glad to see you back in the chat. I was just thinking about OG Lee. I was like, I hope that guy's all right. Good to see you back, man. Spring Valley, New York, near White Plains and Connecticut. Sounds beautiful. Is it raining out there? It's raining over here on the West Coast.
People have chosen a government that has fascists in it, like Ben-Gvir and Smotrich.
That's right.
These guys are saying bluntly that they are fascists. They are saying that the Palestinians have...
Of course, they don't use that term, but no, but they're saying the Palestinians are...
to leave or die or accept a life of subjugation to the Israeli oppression.
That is exactly what they're saying. That is literally what they're saying. They say that they need to leave, leave their land, leave their property, or die. And then and then if they don't want to live in a ghetto, I know the irony of it too. I know.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
But if they don't want to live in a fucking ghetto, then they need to get the fuck out. And some of them talk about exiling them to Europe somewhere.
Die or accept a life of subjugation to the Israeli oppression. This is the cause of the problem. And let me remind you that the Israeli army killed 96 Palestinians since the beginning of this year, including 17 children and 1 old woman. This is what we see today is a reaction.
Journalists are getting hit.
The Israeli government behavior.
So the last 3 days have seen tensions spike over who can access Al-Aqsa Mosque, when and for how long. Is there a fix to this? And I mean this immediate problem.
There is no fix unless Israel allows us to reach the city of Jerusalem. We don't want to visit Israel. We want to be in East Jerusalem, which is occupied. It's part of the occupied West Bank. But
but Trump said, Trump said it was Israel's now. So, okay, it's done. It's over. And MSNBC, Morning Joe would be sweating bullets talking about this subject right now. It would be 95%. What about the rockets? Oh, rockets bad. And then, maybe Israel's not doing the best thing. Never mind. Rockets really bad. Rockets. Oh, but I don't know about Israel. I don't know about They're pathetic. Liberal media is pathetic when they talk about Israel.
They are not allowing more than 95% of the Palestinians to reach there. Only people who live in Jerusalem or people who live inside Israel can go there.
And then they get their heads beat anyway.
The rest of us are prevented. I lived for 15 years in Jerusalem working as a medical doctor. I was born in East Jerusalem. And I am prevented from reaching Jerusalem since 2005. If I want to go, I tried to get to the Aqsa Mosque 2 weeks ago. They told me to go back, like most people. And then if I wanted to go, I have to sneak in.
Is a major problem.
This is the only way.
Problem.
The reality is that the vast majority of Palestinian Muslims and Christians are not allowed to reach the holy places, are not allowed to worship peacefully inside Jerusalem in the Aqsa Mosque or Holy Sepulchre Church. That is the reality. And even when they say that they allow people above the age of 55 to cross, many are turned back, claiming that they represent a security threat.
So at this moment in time, in light of the clashes that we've seen this week at Al-Aqsa Mosque, in light also of this latest development, the killing of 2 Jewish settlers, what is your message to Israelis on the one hand and Palestinians on the other?
My message is that the road to peace is easy and simple. It starts with ending the illegal Israeli occupation of Palestinian land. It starts with accepting us as equal human beings. It starts with an Israeli decision to eliminate the system of apartheid and oppression of the Palestinian people.
They laugh.
No colonial system has ever lasted. And if some Israelis think that Palestinians will accept a life of subjugation to their oppression and enslavement in a system of apartheid, they are wrong and mistaken. The road to peace is simple. They should end occupation, end settlement activities, end the system of apartheid, allow Palestinian refugees to come back home to the land they have been deprived from reaching for so many years, and then we can have peace. Nothing from what we say is against Israeli or Jewish people as people, but we are struggling against occupation, against apartheid, against fascists like Smotrich and Ben-Gvir, who are also trying to destroy even the Israeli judiciary system. And I think many Israelis now realize that these fascists who are in the government now in Israel are the result of this long-term occupation and a system of apartheid that produced eventually fascism in Israel.
Yeah. And, you know, to respond to what Sabercat says here, you know, yeah, there might have been a time when the Israeli government was honestly discussing some kind of peace settlement in the 90s, right? Maybe. I think it's fair to say, though, that in the last 20 years, all the efforts that Israel has supposedly made in this so-called peace process are efforts made in bad faith. There's no, and now it's mask off. It really is. There's no honest peace debate happening in the Israeli government. They're all pretty much in agreement that the Palestinian people need to be squeezed out of their lands. And the only debate they're having is, do we do total eradication and a complete exile of millions of people, or do we create these weird settlements, or what do we call them in America for the Indians, right? For the Native Americans, reservations, right? What it'll be is a fucking ghetto. I know.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
I know I can't call it that, right? I won't be able to. It's anti-Semitic to point out that what the fuck they're doing in front of our eyes. Hoovervilles, yeah, another great example. That's the only debate happening in the Israeli government right now. Is this Medea fucking? Okay, I thought this was Medea fucking Benjamin. I was about to puke in my mouth. All right, let's get an update here. Let's finish this story up.
After a series.
Thank you so much.
Now, the attack in the occupied West Bank
exactly,
comes after a series of airstrikes carried out by the Israeli military in Gaza.
There's not much left to conquer.
Israel's military says it hit sites belonging to Hamas. That's after its Iron Dome defense system intercepted several rockets fired from the Strip.
Stop.
Let's go to Gaza now. Yumna Syed is standing by. Bring us up to speed on what happened overnight in the early morning hours, Yumna.
I acknowledge that Israel is killing Palestinian aligned reporters. I'm still going to say the bulletproof vest is a little unnecessary at this time. Specifically. Come on.
So
I got to call it out, man. I call it out when Whitey does it.
Last night, Israeli warplanes pounded the Gaza Strip in different areas.
Exactly, Zio.
At the same time,
wouldn't even share it.
Bombarding more than 10 targets, and almost all the evacuated military camps belonging to Hamas, in addition to agriculture lands. No casualties were reported. The Ministry of Health did say that Durra Children's Hospital was partially damaged due to the intense targeting around the area of where the hospital is. Also, a residential home was severely damaged because of the targeting of agriculture lands next to that home. Barrages of rockets were launched from the Gaza Strip towards Israeli towns, and anti-aircrafts were also fired on the Israeli drones and crafts.
All right, Yumna Syed reporting from Gaza. Thank you very much.
Was that it?
And Israel has also launched airstrikes into parts.
You got her all set up. She's out there. That's it? That's all she gets? All right.
Of southern Lebanon, and claims to have also hit Hamas targets there. The military says it's retaliation for rockets fired into Israel on Thursday, while local witnesses say the missiles hit an open area near a Palestinian refugee camp. Zaina Khodr is in southern Lebanon in Tyre. Show us the scene where you are and what you've seen.
Well, yes, we are at one of the sites that was targeted by Israeli planes overnight, approximately.
Oh, what's this? A deadly farm? Oh no! Oh no! They probably targeted it because that's where the rockets were fired and all that. But I mean, come on, come on. Israel knows that Hamas will go into places like this and fire these rockets, and Israel knows that, okay, because they're like, oh, well, it could be a bomb factory. Well, it could be a bomb. They fired rockets from their bomb factory. No one does that. No one fires the rockets from where they made them. So they understand that the retaliation is against innocent people. They don't give a shit. It's red meat for their base.
4 in the morning, we are not allowed to move any further because the Lebanese army is now investigating the area. There's a big crater here, and it's an open field. It's one of, like I mentioned, 4 targets. Now, the Israeli army said it targeted positions belonging to the Palestinian group Hamas in southern Lebanon. Israel is blaming the Palestinian group for launching the barrage of rockets into northern Israel late on Thursday, even though there has been no claim of responsibility. It was a serious escalation, one of the most serious escalations along the border since the 2006 war between Israel and Hezbollah. But it's clear Israel's response was limited and measured. And according to the United Nations peacekeeping force, they have been in contact with the different parties on the ground. Neither Lebanon nor Israel wants war. So tensions have been diffused. This round of hostilities is over, but this is clearly a political message. And that message is, if Israel continues to launch attacks against Palestinians, attack worshippers, then Palestinian groups have supporters across the region, the so-called axis of resistance, who will open other fronts.
Zaina, unsurprisingly, the Lebanese government not best pleased that its territory has been targeted by Israel. The foreign ministry is now saying that it's going to file a complaint with the UN Security Council. Tell us more about that.
Yes, usually the Lebanese Foreign Ministry files complaints at the UN Security Council whenever there's an Israeli airstrike or if Israeli planes violate Lebanese airspace. More often than not, nothing changes and nothing happens. As you can see behind me, the UN peacekeepers have now also arrived at the scene to carry out investigations because the Lebanese army, as well as the United Nations, have still not pointed the blame at any party. Yes, the Lebanese government is concerned. It doesn't want an escalation. The
UN peacekeepers, huh? The hell are they doing? They should be in Palestine, pushing back Israel.
Lebanese government is hoping that tensions will be refused. This is a cash-strapped state, nearly bankrupt. It cannot afford another war. But neither can Hezbollah. Yes, security sources say that Palestinian groups are most likely behind this operation, the launching of rockets yesterday, but they wouldn't have done it without the support and approval of Hezbollah. And Hezbollah, too, doesn't want any adventures at this point in time because, of course, it will be blamed.
Props to the cameraman and the reporter here. This happened live, and she gave space to the cameraman to catch all this live on camera and transition back. Yeah, that's some good news right there. Yeah, that's some tasty ass news right there.
People here cannot afford to put food on the table, and that's why many analysts believe that the best card to use right now when sending a political message is through the Palestinians.
Zaina Khoda reporting from southern Lebanon. Thank you very much.
It's a tale as old as time. How fucking many times do we have to repeat this cycle? All the criticisms are there. All the fucking rebuttals are debunked. The only question is, how long is the United States going to enable Israeli oppression against the Palestinian people? Right? Because they slowed down criticism of Israel by saying, oh, we're legitimate good actors in the peace process. They've thrown the peace process in the trash. They've done that in front of the entire world. They've made very clear what their goal is, and they're going for it. So there's no more pretense on a peace process. stop with the motherfucking myth, and let's talk about the real motherfucking problem, which is the United States funding this. Exactly, Sabercat. We've heard it all before. So thank you, YouTube. That's my Israeli update. More to come. I don't really, besides saying that, I don't really have much else to say. Free Palestine, for the love of God.